Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're having a fantastic day, and welcome back. I guess I can welcome myself back as well. Let me just find where is stream starting soon thingy here. Okay, okay, and uh, uh, hold on. There it is. Already forgot how to stream. No, I usually don't have a picture up on this. This is just a face cam. Ah, good to be back. Hope you had a good time while I was away. And hopefully you are excited for more streaming as I am. Barely tanned. Oh, I did catch a bunch of sun. Don't worry. We walked a lot. Like our feet and backs were falling off by the end. Um I did prepare a bunch of pictures, a couple of videos, um, and I'll try to take you through all the 5 full days that we were there, if you're interested in. um, oh, why is it opening it in Windows Media Player? It's ridiculous. So, mm, right. So anyway, uh, we went there. Let me open the calendar. That would be shit. I think it was Thursday. Thursday, but
Kianoni is here flambe ipe. A virus is making people forget 80s rock bands. Nobody knows the cure.
yeah, I heard that one. Thank you for 23 months, Canoni. Appreciate it. Also, I believe Light, thank you for 58, and Wingham, thank you for 18. Appreciate it, boys. Thank you very much. Yeah. So, calendar. Yeah, so we went there on Thursday, but technically, well, yeah, I mean, yeah, it was Thursday. Our flight was at Jesus, 11 or so. There's also a time difference. So, our you essentially save an hour flying or something like that, or you add an hour and then save an hour. I'm not really sure. And then our flight was delayed. That's how the whole trip started. Our flight was immediately delayed for an hour. So that sucked because we spent quite a lot of time on our airport here. And then once we finally got in there, the flight is only about 2 hours, like not even 2 hours. It's pretty fast from Croatia to Istanbul, which is in Turkey. In case you didn't know, the very very historical city, known here as Tsarigrad, or probably to everybody else as Constantinopolis or Constantinople. Cool. Thank you so much for 33 months, man.
Colt 63 is here flambe ipe.
And it's a very historical city. It's where the Eastern Roman Empire was situated, and it was the capital of Byzantium Empire. It was a city of a lot of fortunes and a lot of potential fight, well, like sieges and stuff like that. Very very big city, very very beautiful city. Um, some things caught me by surprise. I would also like to leave a disclaimer. Nothing I say is going to. I don't want to make it sound offensive. I will give a couple of my own opinions on some things that I've heard and seen. They're nothing special. Don't worry. It's just like, I don't know. Some people might want to interpret them a little bit offensive or anything like that if they're subjective or biased or anything like that. It's not meant to be there like that. I just like to give my honest opinion about things, and it's not meant to be offensive. It was just an observation. It was just something to get used to, a new experience, my impressions initially, and stuff like that. So just a little disclaimer there. Right. So we arrived around midnight. Right now we are in a foreign city that has a very, well, I'm not going to say very different culture, but in some ways very different culture. It's midnight, half past midnight. I think it's a huge airport. I've been on some German airports. I'm not sure if this one is bigger or not. Maybe someone can compare, like Munich or Frankfurt or something like that. But this is one gigantic freaking airport. Like the whole thing with the strips and hangars and so on. Wait, can you guys hear music, by the way? Yeah, it just hit me. So you were sitting in silence the entire time, and I turned on some lovely background music. uh, now you can, right? Yeah, now you can. I started a League client just for the background music because I know they have a very soothing background music while I'm preparing everything, only to realize that for 20 minutes there was no music at all. It was just dead silent for you. Yeah, I forgot, I haven't streamed for 10 days. I forgot the League has completely different audio settings and everything. Anyway, so yeah, like it's just gonna be League music in the background. Doesn't mean I'll be playing League. It's just very soothing music. So yeah, we had arranged wife has arranged, had arranged transportation from the airport to hotel, because at that point in time, you have no idea how or where to go, and the airport is not exactly close either. It was about 45 minute drive. Traffic, by the way, is pretty crazy in the city. Even the locals say that, like, public transportation is pretty good. But if you own a car, you're probably not going to have a good time, because not only the traffic is a bit crazy, if you're a pedestrian, you are meaningless, by the way. Nobody gives a flying F about you. You got to take care of yourself. But it's very dense. It's one of the biggest cities. For me personally, it's the biggest and most populated city that I have ever been in. And I think it's one of the most populated and biggest cities in the world. Like 7th or 8th or something like that. It has more than 16 million inhabitants. And that's, I believe, without the tourists. I think that's just locals. So I don't really know the number. They say it's like 20 million or so. Now, to give you a perspective, I come from a country that has about 3.5 million people living in it, the entire country. And I just went to a city that has more than 20 million people in it. It takes a bit to comprehend that. It takes Like you're trying to figure out how the hell is that even possible? That one city can have so many people. But then you get there and you start seeing how big this city is, and I'll show you some pics, and you realize like, holy cow, okay. It's like as far as your eye can reach in every direction. Yeah. So anyways, we after we landed there, it took us a little bit of time to get the taxi. Well, we had to wait for the arranged taxi to arrive, and then it took us to a hotel. We checked in. It was at this point. It's already like 1:30. Yeah, but I think between 1:30 and 2 a.m. when we arrived at our hotel. The only thing we got to see was, which was also very beautiful, while we were landing, since it was like midnight. The whole city was, in its beautiful aura of lights. Every light in the city was on. These guys I don't know, do they go to sleep early or do they just have weird working shifts? But even at 2:30 in the morning, we could still see a lot of places open. And the city felt like not super alive or anything like that, but it felt alive. It didn't feel like you were in some godforsaken place. Like there was life. Even at 2:30 in the morning on a Thursday evening / Friday super early, right? So yeah, anyway, we got there, we got to our room. The room looked okay at first. It had some weird weird things about it, like I don't know, did I actually take a picture of that? I think I did, I just don't know where it is. You only had one window, and it was a window maybe this size, so not particularly big. But we had view from that window, if you ignore the building stuff, because we were on the 6th floor. If you focus on the far end, you could see the sea, and a lot of ships are docked and anchored around Istanbul, like a shitload of them. The view was okay, but it's in the room and it's behind us and it's high. Like the windows was pretty much there just for like ventilation and stuff. But what was weird about it is that there was a window to the right of our window, and that window had nothing in front of it but the wall. Now I know you might find it a little bit funny, like okay, you just didn't have a good view. No. The window felt like it was inside the apartment. Like you were actually staring at your own exterior walls. I'll try to paint a picture for you so you have an idea. So that was a bit weird, but it was a small, like 1/2 meter platform that you had the access to once you opened the window. It was essentially 1/2 meter of concrete in every direction, besides to the outside where there was a small porthole. So we used that to actually store our shoes there, so they could get ventilated throughout the evening and not just, stay in our room, which was very convenient, but a very bizarre piece of apartment. I don't know how to say it otherwise. And to make matters worse, between the two windows, that's the one that had curtains. I don't know what the hell those curtains are designed for, because they don't prevent you from seeing anything, and they don't cover the light at all. And the window that actually had the sun coming in did not have the curtains. Now that I think about it, it feels like somebody used the curtains to just cover the window so you don't actually see the window, which of course we discovered immediately. So yeah, a little bit weird. The good and the bad about the hotel, just to get that out of the way, is I mean, they were polite throughout the entire course of our stay there. They were accessible and polite, but the room itself was not in a particularly good shape. And the fucked up part is that the things that were bad about the room could have been easily fixed. Now, we didn't say anything the first 2 days, but we did speak out on the third day when they asked us something. And they said they would do something about it, but they didn't do shit. In fact, something negative happened on the last day as well. I don't know, should I just go through all 5 days in hotel? Or... So we're done with like the hotel stuff? Or do I speak day by day and then tell you hotel at the end and the start when we were actually there? I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know how you want to hear the hotel part of the story. So we couldn't sleep immediately after all that. I think I fell asleep past 4. Mrs. maybe half an hour earlier than me. So we went to bed very late and we fell asleep very late. So that kind of immediately set the tone for our stay. It meant the mornings are going to be something we, sleep through at least the first couple of days. And then we'll be doing the exploration during the day, and then evenings find something to do until you fall asleep. So the very first day, we got up around noon, which isn't too bad considering we were in bed around 4 a.m. Thanks to a very late flights. Unfortunately, there was no better flights to take. And then here's the thing about Istanbul, and it is a mind-blowing thing to me. Still, there are usually 2-3 restaurants in a row, and then there's like a market, and then there's going to be maybe a souvenir shop, and there's going to be again a restaurant, and then maybe there's going to be another souvenir shop, and then there's going to be a restaurant. Then maybe they're going to have a place for sweets, like they're famous for baklavas and stuff, and then there's going to be a restaurant, and in between all of that there's going to be hotels. The whole freaking city literally feels like restaurant next to a restaurant, next to a hotel, next to a souvenir shop, next to a baklava shop, next to a restaurant. And it's a gigantic city. And the funny part is, all these restaurants essentially have the same menu. I can't believe that, and we did a lot of walking. I can't believe that I don't know, is it their culture and they simply prefer that, so it doesn't pay off to try and open anything else? Like any other cuisines? Because they're all just pretty much sticking to the same thing. The menus are essentially everywhere the same. Some places have better food, some places a little bit worse, but for the most part, everybody is rated. Okay, the place where we were at, everybody was rated really, really good. Like it's all 4.6 plus, between 4.6 and 5.0. And this is not just a couple of reviews, these are thousands of reviews. And from what I can tell, well-earned grades. The problem is when you're seeing 4.8 and 4.9 on average, and then you see something that's like 4.5, you're like, uh-oh. Like, well, what does that mean? And then you get to some places in the city where the highest you can find is 4.5. There's a lot of 4.0s and 4.1 and 2. And you go like, oh, Jesus. Is the food that bad? Normally, I don't know where you go, But when you see places that have about between 4 and 4.5, that's supposed to be decent food. But in Istanbul, you are very, you feel very reserved because, sorry, hiccups. Because you're kind of used to super high grades and super tasty food. The only problem is that, and they do have a bunch of items that you can choose from on their menus. However, after a couple of days where you went out and ate 7, 8, 10 times, you start to kind of run out of options what to go for. For example, pizzas we couldn't really find, especially the Turkish pizza, which is supposed to be something unique. Nothing that I would personally go for, but Mrs. likes to try as unique as she can find from the places that we're going to. So they're gonna have a bunch of pitas, which is usually dough with something, and that something in this case is usually minced meat, whether it's beef or chicken, and if it's not with meat, it's gonna be with cheese. So you're gonna have, and they make those pretty nicely. So that's gonna be like hot appetizers or stuff. You have salads. Some places are gonna have a couple of soups, some won't. And then you're gonna have a bunch of maybe a couple of steaks, and then it's gonna be a bunch of dishes with either beef or chicken and kebab, right? It's kebab or kebab. I don't really know how you... Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, I don't know how you pronounce it. Is it kebab or kebab? Here, we say kebab. But in English, I think it's kebab. But I just come from Turkey, and I don't know if it's kebab or kebab. And I know I heard it a couple of times, but I can't... It doesn't echo in my brain right now. I can't remember how they pronounce it. Weird. Fast one? So, kebab? Yeah, okay. That's how we say it as well. And they make these kebabs on like various different ways, and it's usually tasty. But that's about it. It's like a bunch of kebabs, a bunch of pitas, and a bunch of other. Some places are gonna have maybe some couple of types of pasta and a couple of dishes with seafood. But then you realize that it's almost as if they all downloaded the same pictures and the same menu from the internet. And it feels like no matter where you go, that's at least my experience. And we've been there for 5 full days, and we went through as much as we could. So it's not bad because you know what to expect. And it's all, excuse me, for the most part, good and tasty food. I would just like to have a bit of a change of pace at some point, which then gets a little bit challenging. So that's maybe a little bit of a negative. Luckily for us, there were like 3 restaurants next to each other right behind our hotel. And the very first one we entered was the tastiest food we had in 5 days, which is good and bad. Like the initial impression is good, but then you're like, every next time you try something, it's like, yeah, okay, but. And then the evening before we left, I insisted that we go back there. Our flight was at 5 in the morning, 5:05. So we had to leave our hotel around 2 to get there by 3 to be able to do everything by 4 and be ready to board by 5. We went to that place around 11 in the evening, and I ordered exactly the same thing that I ordered on the first time we got there, and it was shish chicken. It comes served on a sword, and you have like a chunk, a decent chunk of chicken, and then it's like a green bell pepper, or sorry, not bell pepper, paprika or paprika, and then it's a chunk of meat, and then it's like a red paprika, and then another chunk of meat. So like they literally give it to you on a sword, and then they take it off one by one in front of you. The funny part about about Istanbul, and I don't know, is it everywhere in Turkey like this? But there is no way that you're going to enter a dining place, you know, a restaurant, and that there's going to be only one waiter. I feel like majority of the city works as waiters in that city. It is incredible amount of waiters. They literally have a little guy that's carrying everything, and then the proper waiter is the one who does the demonstration. Who will actually serve everything. So you'll have one guy carrying these platters and plates, and then you're gonna have one guy who's actually gonna be putting stuff in front of you. Sometimes there's gonna be 3 of them in total. We went to restaurants that had five or 6 waiters per floor, and it was like a 3-floor restaurant, and it was freaking empty. It's mind-boggling. How is this sustainable? How can you have so many waiters and not be full 24/7? I don't know. Like, I don't know how much money they're getting paid for, how much they work, and so on, but it feels very weird to have so many waiters, and there are places that are not full. Like, for the most part, they're not full at all. They have traffic, but it's not God knows what. Like, how do they make enough money to cover their expenses and then earn? I have no idea. Although I gotta say, the costs are... I heard that Turkey's like at least Istanbul, like very, very cheap until a few years ago. Now it's about 1,500% more expensive than it was. Like right now, if you go there, it's no different than Croatia. And Croatia is one of the most, I think, expensive countries in Europe right now, which is insane considering our average, what do you call it? Check. What people get paid per month. On average here is, I think, about 1,100 euros. Maybe 14, 15 if you're lucky. Yeah, income, sorry. And it's one of the most expensive freaking countries in the Europe right now. It's freaking hilarious. Like, we have managed to put our costs and expenses at the same place where the France has it, the UK has it, and Germany and other places, but those guys make 3 to 5 times more than us on average. It's bizarre. It's really bizarre. We used to be a lot cheaper than other countries, but not anymore. Like right now, the costs here are very similar. Of course, depends on what. Not everything is going to be equally expensive. But, living style, just average expenses. So yeah, we went there. We had some food, and the good thing is that Mrs. booked a place that was in the center of Istanbul. We were extremely close to Hagia Sophia and the Blue Mosque. Both historical buildings, especially Hagia Sophia. So everything was, not everything obviously because it's a gigantic city, but the first 2 or 3 days, everything was in 10 minutes of walking distance. Which was awesome. So yeah, I want to show you a couple of pictures. This is when I was arriving, just so you can have an idea on how freaking big the city is and how it looks like from the airplane. One thing I also noticed on this picture is that if you pay attention to the silhouette, it looks kind of like United States. Obviously, this is just one city, not the whole continent, but it does kind of have a similar shape. It's a gigantic city. And keep in mind, what you can see is on my side of the plane. I don't know, is this European or Asian side? There is this amount of city on the other side of the plane that I didn't get to see. It's crazy big. Crazy big. Yeah, this is the first and last meal in Istanbul that we had. Did I fly Turkish Airways? No, we flew with Croatia Airlines both times. Yeah, since we implemented the euro, everything went like 1,000% up. It's crazy. The beer here is called, although I know it, actually shit, which beer did he give me the first time? Yeah, if I had to go by guessing, I would say Efes, which I think is their most popular beer. And by the way, a lot of places don't serve beer at all. And the places that do, they only have usually either Efes or Bomonti. And then some places will have additional 2 to 5 other types of beer. Like, beer is apparently not very popular, or they're just okay with these two. And both of those beers are okay. Both Efes and Bomonti are okay. They're not spectacular, but they're not bad. So here you can see the chunks of chicken with the paprikas in between. A bit of a different way of making French fries, but yeah. Some onions. I forgot how this is called, but it's essentially a side dish to the meat. So it is a little bit weird that they serve both this and potatoes. You would expect either a bigger portion of this or a bigger portion of potatoes, but I guess this way it's like you get to eat a bit of both. Usually I would finish my potatoes and then eat a third, maybe half of this. And then here you have their bread. There's a custom in Istanbul, and I presume maybe in other part of the country, to serve you this thing, which is a very, very thin, very, very inflated, literally, bread. It comes like this big, but it's completely empty inside, and it's a very thin layer. And then they usually serve you that with these two. Some olives and some, I don't know, is it goat cheese or what is it? They don't charge you that. That's on the house. And when you're done with food, they usually ask you, do you want coffee or do you want tea? Or they just bring you usually tea, which they don't charge you either. We argue that that's all part of the costs, but you're not going to find it on a receipt. And then this is something that Mrs. enjoyed a bit more than me. I mean, it's a good sauce. I can't really compare it. I don't know how to explain and compare this. It is cold. It's a little bit spicy. And that's about all I can tell you about it. This is the sauce that she got, and she said that it was way too strong, probably chili. So we both enjoyed this. Although on the last day, I almost didn't even touch this. I just ate potatoes and meat. That over there is about 2/3 of pita with minced meat. The onion was from my plate because I don't really like onions. And then we ordered Turkish salad, which very much reminded me of the Greek salad, but it's called Turkish salad. And it's not Greek because they have Greek salad as well. Muslims can drink beer. That's why you don't see it, except they do drink in West Turkey, lol. Okay. And then the coffee. This is, I believe, the Blue Mosque. Yeah. It is a very beautiful mosque. It is the first one we saw. The one that was the closest to our hotel. I have endless amount of pictures of this mosque. It really is beautiful. The only thing, like, I never really thought that I would find mosques beautiful. No offense meant. But I was really surprised just how much they grew on me. They really make the city stand out and be different, especially with these pillars that they have. Some of them will have 2 pillars, some of them will have 4. Very few of them will actually have 6. The only thing that was kind of disappointing was on the inside, there's not that much to see. They are incredibly simplistic and bare bones. But I've been told that that's their custom. Unlike Christian churches, which are going to have a shitload of relics and paintings and a lot of just about everything on the walls. In Islam, it's apparently sacrilege to have stuff like that inside the mosque. So, for example, Hagia Sophia is, like, I don't know, like, I think we both agreed that it wasn't particularly in a good shape. And I mean, keep in mind that thing was built in like 5th or 7th century. It's extremely old. And to make matters crazier, the whole thing shifted to the side after one of the earthquakes. The whole bloody thing inside, all the pillars are kind of tilted on one side. So it's a little bit like, Blue Mosque is built, I think, in 15th century. And it is the most beautiful mosque that I've seen. I think I'm going to have some pictures on the inside as well. Yeah. So, if you pay attention, the inside is going to be just, like, when it comes to decorating, when it comes to art, this is it. The whole mosque is going to be like this. There's not going to be a lot of writings on the wall. You can see some here and here, and there might be some on the roof. That's it. You're not going to be seeing any statues or faces or angels or anything like that like you see in the Christian church. Here, for the most part, it's just going to be this type of art, a bunch of lights, and even the windows are not decorated in some of them. Yeah, there's a bunch of cats in Istanbul. And yes, women are I'm struggling to find the appropriate word, but I'm just gonna express myself differently. They have to cover their hair. Don't get me wrong, it's beautiful on the inside. The Blue Mosque was, but it's not like the church. Like, when you walk into the church, usually they have a lot more to see on the inside, and they're a lot more decorated. You can't see it from this picture, but half, if not more than half, is just not available. It's where the Muslims pray, and you can't go there. There's a fence, essentially, keeping you from going in there. And then that's why you see only few people here, and you see everybody here. These are the tourists, and these are just, Muslims praying. Yeah, this is the roof. This is the Hagia Sophia, or I believe they call it Hagia Sophia. A very historical building. I believe originally built by the Christians to be the church, then converted into the mosque, and then it was back and forth multiple times. And the thing is that on the inside, the Muslims didn't really destroy. Well, they did destroy some pieces of Christianity. Like, for example, very often you will find crosses that are cut in half, but they didn't really bother too much to remove all traces of Christianity. For example, if you have a cross like this, sometimes they will just literally carve out this part. So you will have this piece of the cross, and then everything here will be like somebody took a pencil and just did this on the paper. It's just that they did that in stone. Sometimes it's going to be this part missing and you're just going to have this part. Sometimes they're just going to take the upper half. As long as it doesn't show the full cross, they were fine with that. They didn't really bother to remove the whole thing, which is a little bit weird, but sure. And their most popular way of essentially, I don't know what the word for this would be, writing over Christianity was, that's literally what they did. They would plaster their own insignias, paintings, or they would just put like an additional section of the wall on top of a wall or a painting or picture or whatever that's already there. So technically, and there's only a handful of places where these Christian murals and other things were found. There's a good chance that Hagia Sophia is completely and utterly covered in Christian murals and pictures and stuff like that, but we can't see it today. It's obviously forbidden to do anything with it because it's a historical place. And you can see a lot of places have this additional layers of whatever they were using to cover the walls with, which is covered in Islamic iconography and stuff like that. If at some point in the future this mosque and this city does change its culture or its owner for whatever reason back to Christianity, and whoever's in charge decides to dig and scrape the walls and look for it, there's a very good chance they will find a shitload of those insignias inside, because the Muslims just covered it all. They didn't want to destroy it all. Most of it, apparently, they didn't want to destroy. They just covered it and sort of like just painted and built over it, which really increases the value of that structure because you have both religions leaving their marks for 1,500 years. It's just they went over each other. But it's from all the mosques, obviously, this one is, I don't know how to say that, like the most bare bones. These are the this is the cistern, the biggest cistern in the Istanbul, where the it was built during the time of the Eastern Roman Empire, and because the city was under sieges, the only way to survive a siege is to obviously not let the enemy walk inside, and two, not starve to death. So they had to have storages of food and water. This is apparently where they invented the whole system of cisterns and like huge storages for water. I don't know if you can tell just how gigantic this is. This is under the city. And yes, they left a little bit of water just to showcase you, but this was, back in its days, filled till the top. There was no light inside. The exits were secret. Some of these were discovered many, many years after whoever came took over the city, like the Ottomans later on and so on. They discovered about 400 of these around the entire city. What's funny is that this one is bigger than all the other ones combined. Just let that sink in. There's 400 of them, and they think that not all of them have been even discovered yet. This one is bigger than all of them combined. And it was literally for water. Yeah, you can see just how much it goes in one direction. And there's still space in front of where we're standing and a bunch of it on the left and right. It's huge. I didn't ask just how much water in volume can actually be stored in here, but a lot. They also have the Medusa, which was apparently, keeping people from going in places. Because if you look at her in the eyes, you get turned to stone and so on. Some of the things were made additionally. You can see a bunch of coins that people like to toss. There are a couple of statues of Medusa where they're like upside down. And then all the pillars, there's 336, I believe, pillars inside this cistern. This is the only one that looks different. This one was dedicated to all the workers that died while this was being built. And in case you're wondering what these are supposed to be, they're supposed to be tears. Like weeping and crying for the people who fell trying to build this monument. And here's a different picture of it. Also, in Istanbul, they like to use already used marble and stone and pillars and use that material for rebuilding. Sometimes they would literally scrape or reuse something that's been demolished or stuff like that to build new ones.
Gunny is here, Flambe Ipe.
Gunny!
Another month closer to retirement. How is it hanging, big man?
I just got back from Istanbul. It's going great, man. Happy to be back and happy to be streaming. Thank you for 71 months. Yeah, you can see some pictures from the outside here. I believe that's Blue Mosque. So Sophia should be just on the other side. This was funny. Like one of the shops that we went on some sort of a bazaar had a bunch of these bitcoins. And I was like, Tarkov, should we loot this place? It was the only place where I've seen these. So I had to take a picture and show it to you. But you can see, like, there's literally just about everything inside here. I didn't ask how much they cost. It's probably just a souvenir. Don't ask me why. I have no idea why you would be selling something like this, but yeah, they have these cat pillows, which do look a little bit freaky. I found this shop where they sell nothing but, well, not true, nothing, but for the most part, they were selling chessboards and obviously chess pieces, and you can see just how unique some of these are. Very, very beautiful chess pieces and chessboards. Although I gotta say, it would take a little bit of time to get used to playing on a chess like this. because you would have to learn what figure represents what. Like, you can literally see Romans. I don't really know what these are supposed to be. Like, very cool ideas. If my grandfather was alive, I would have bought him one of these for the gift, because he used to play chess a lot. Then this was at one of the places that we were at, where we had a very interesting table sitting next to us. In case you can't see, it says all you need is kebab. Next to us there was, well, I don't know, should we call them a couple? Because it looked like they were on a date. Mrs. is convinced the guy has more than 60, that he's more than 60 years old, and that she is barely 30. Yeah, they were on a date, which was a little bit interesting / funny to watch, because they spent the whole evening there next to us, literally table next to us, so we got to, see and hear a couple of things. Basilica cistern could store 80,000 cubic meters of water. Yeah, love is love, got no age limits. Yeah, I'm sure that's one of the theories. And another theory when shit like that happens is usually the financial reasons, but we tried to figure out which of the two it's going to be. We couldn't. We really couldn't. We even discussed about it. Like, yeah, I don't know. We couldn't really come to a conclusion. The only conclusion that we came to, because it was pretty obvious, is that she was invested, and at the end, so was he. Anyway, welcome to the alien egg. This comes served like an enclosed bowl of bread, and then they slowly open it in front of you. Like, he chucks the knife down here, and then he starts slicing it like a pizza, and then cuts it on the side so that it stays open. But on the inside, you have, I think it was beef meat, paprika, carrots. Oh God, what are these called? Hazelnuts or something like that, or nuts? I'm not really sure. And then these were, I'm actually gonna have to Google translate that because I really don't know. Fig from a fig tree, fruit from a fig tree, apparently. It wasn't bad. The bread was amazing. We both agreed that maybe it would have been better without the figs. It wasn't bad at all. But personally, I'm not into the type of meat which is made... I don't know how you call that in English. Maybe someone here is from Balkan and he knows how to translate it. Lesho meso. I don't really know how you translate that. You know the meat that you make soup from? And then you often eat that meat as well? Like, the meat was kind of that way. Yeah, boiled. Like stew. Yeah, kind of. I had a lot of that when I was sick. And ever since then, I just, like, don't have an appetite for that. Don't get me wrong. This was a very tasty meal, dish, whatever you want to call it. If you have a chance to try it, I would recommend it. But personally, I'm not type of meat being prepared that way anymore. But I am objective enough to acknowledge that this was very good. But it was also funny because when he got completely laid out and open, I was like, holy cow, this looks like an alien egg that just hatched. So, this young man is one of a couple of waiters that was working here, and they were constantly performing this one thing, which is, it's called a pot kebab, or kebab, which is essentially, they have this, I don't know, is it made of clay or stone, whatever it is, but essentially your meat is prepared for you on live fire inside this thing, and there's an entire performance that they do. I do believe I have a video in case you guys are interested. I just don't know if I prepared it here. One sec. Okay, I don't have it here. Give me a second. Let's see. And one thing that we figured out is that these guys are resilient to fire. They're literally resilient to fire. His hands are constantly going through the live flame like it's not there. He's constantly smiling. He's gonna be putting a towel on it. Look at this. Like, I don't know if you can tell, but his hands are right there. They're going through the fire, and they're doing all of this on top of the fire. I know the dude is from Iran. I don't know the people in Iran have fire resistance, but holy shit. And he was doing this every 10 minutes. Someone was constantly ordering these pot kebabs. And look at this. This is all being done while the fire is just slowly going and burning his fingers. That as well. He's holding the hand in fire. I don't know. It was crazy. I actually sent this video to my mother, and she was like, yeah, I think this guy's resilient to fire. This is the performance. He essentially does the whole thing, and there's a lot of banging and so on, and then eventually he will just, yeah, empty the meat in there, put out the fire, and that's it. So pretty cool. That this is not the only place. This is not the only place that I've seen them do this. We walked into a couple of places where they were performing this. So it's a cool little thing. The beer here is Efes, the one that I had the most. Decent beer. Yeah. And the Turkish coffee. Mrs. says that the coffee she had here is probably the best coffee she ever had. No sugar, no cream, no milk, nothing. Just pure, raw Turkish coffee. This is inside. I think this is inside Hagia Sophia, the most famous mosque. As you can see, the walls don't really have decorations. No pictures or paintings or anything like that. And then this is the place down where they pray. The roof, you can see that they covered originally these were, I think, angels made by the Christians when they made this, because originally it was a church, and they have faces. But then when the Muslims came, they decided to keep these, but they painted over them to cover the faces. Not exactly sure why. There's only one of these angels that has a face that you can see. And yeah, you can see like this thing is old. This thing is 1,500 freaking years old. Like, that's one of the things that makes it really, really special in comparison to the other ones, even though I would argue the other ones are a lot more beautiful. But, you know, to each their own. But this one has an incredible historical relevance. Yeah, see, this one actually has a face, while the other ones do not. And then it's very beautiful when they turn on these lights because it looks like flowers, and it was apparently designed to be look like flowers. And this was the picture that the tour guide that we had was trying to position us, and we didn't know what he was trying to do until the picture was already taken. That if you position yourself this way, keep in mind that is between this wall and that wall, like that's hanging from the ceiling, and it's not above her, but it was designed that you can stand here, and if you stand properly, it looks like a halo. This was above one of the entrances. Funny enough, a lot of times people wouldn't see it, so they placed a mirror on the opposite side. So when people would try to leave, they would see it as a reflection in the mirror, and then they would turn around and see it, because this was the entrance/exit. That was our audio guide. So when you would walk out, you wouldn't see this. So they put there's also an arch above where I'm standing. So they literally put a gigantic mirror above there, so when people walk out, that they would see this. And that's not something they did now because this is closed, but that's something they did back in the day. She had some sort of a kebab. I can't remember what, and I had curry, chicken curry. It completely different place. It was okay. This is one of the pictures that I loved. It was on the wall just outside the restaurant. This is literally how many faces can you guess? Like Bruce Lee, for example, Elvis Presley, Abraham Lincoln, freaking Mike Tyson and Putin right next to each other, Einstein, Moses. There's a lot of Michael Jordan. There's a lot of people here on one picture, which is really cool. Like, this is and it's huge. This is actually huge. Like, you can see just how big the chair is. So this was pretty cool. Then, of course, I don't know, was it second or third day, we got caught by rain. The entire day it was raining, and we were lucky enough that the hotel provided these, but really small umbrellas. So we were kind of wet all the time. Oh, fuck that. Jesus Christ. Sorry about that. That scared the shit out of me, too. This was one of the... Can I pause this? Yeah. We went to a performance, a dance performance, in one of the places. It lasted about 70 minutes. And it was pretty cool. This was the favorite thing that I saw. So it's a couple of minutes. If you want to watch it, I will leave it on. It was a pretty cool performance. There was, I think, 12 or 14 artists that were dancing and performing. But this was definitely my favorite. You'll see how much this woman can spin and not get dizzy. How many of you do you think could spin that much and not fucking fall to your face? Wind resistant, yeah. Okay. Good morning, Marlo. Oh, for fuck's sakes. And I'm gonna have to find where we exactly. Ah, got it. No, I don't want a video. I want this. Paint, not fucking paint. Huh? Ne. Ne znaš šta je tvoja čista? Samo se vozi. Ja sam tvoja svoj, ne znaš šta je tvoja čisto šta je. So, what was this? I think this was day 3. We went to the Sultan's Palace, where sultans and their families lived. And we were not prepared. We also had a guide. The whole thing was supposed to last 60 to 70 minutes. What we didn't know is that was going to be just her walking in the gardens between all the buildings and telling you what the building was used for, and then it's up to you when the the tour guide finishes to actually walk in all the buildings, which some of them were easy to access to, some of them you had to stand in line for. We spent like 4 or 5 hours here and we didn't get to see everything. My feet and my back was killing me. Absolutely killing me. There's a couple of pictures here. Yeah, this is like the entrance. This is the view from the place. You see that thing over there? That thing is very, very far away, and it is the biggest mosque in Istanbul. That thing stands out like an absolute monstrosity, no matter where you look. Good afternoon, William. And I believe what you're looking at right now is the Asian side of Istanbul. So, Asian continent. Because this is all on the European side that you saw so far. Because the city is so freaking huge, it's actually on 2 continents. Yeah, more pictures from inside the palace. More Blue Mosque. We actually had breakfast on the 4th day, which had a beautiful view on both a large portion of the city, Asofia and Blue Mosque, and it was on the 6th floor. They have a lot of rooftop restaurants, by the way, and cafes, so I definitely recommend that you go and check it out if you are there. This one was absolutely beautiful, and the funny part is you can order Turkish breakfast, which I will show you exactly what it is. It's crazy amount of ingredients. And then whatever is left, the waiter, while you're still there, when you're finished, will come to the window, and you're sitting on a table right next to the window, and he will take the food that you didn't eat and he will throw it to the seagulls. And there's seagulls around here everywhere. They're just waiting. And then he starts tossing the food, and then they're coming in and swooping like planes, literally trying to grab it. And there are a couple of instances where he won't even throw it. He'll just hold it on a fork, and then you'll see them go one by one trying to grab this food without actually touching him. And what's amazing about it is that they will not enter the restaurant. They will not try to go for the food that's on the table. They won't try to step on the window or anything like that. They will wait for the waiter to show up and start giving them the food. And then there's going to be like 10, 15 of them coming there to feed. And when he leaves, they leave. That was the most incredible part. Now, this is for 2 people, by the way. So we'll start from the bottom. 2 eggs, some sort of sausage, spicy, 2 balls of salad. There are 1, 2, 3 different types of 4 different types of cheese here, with red and green paprikas and some green salad or whatever the hell that is. Then you have the cucumbers and tomatoes and more paprikas. You have 2 sort of spring rolls, French fries, 2 Nutella packages, 2 hard-boiled eggs, olives with lemon, 3 different types of salami, butter, honey, with like the funny part is that this honey is actually still in its casings. This is literally scraped from the beehive. We call it here French salad. I'm not really sure how you call it in English. I don't know what this is. This is one of the very few things I actually didn't try because I didn't give a shit about it. Didn't like the looks of it. The eggs look big, or is it just me? No, they're normal size, at least from what I'm used to. Then you have 3 different types of. Well, technically it's 4 different types of, like, this one we called French salad. This one was with paprikas, and I don't know what else. And then these 2 were mostly like yogurt or mayo, or both. I'm not sure. Here you have dark olives. Here you have like regular olives. This is like 2 different types of very sweet marmalade. I don't really remember. I don't really know what that was. Mrs. liked it. I didn't really liked it, but I don't really know what it is. We found out that that's not sweet. That's also eggs, but they taste different. And then you have a couple of cake biscuit jello thingies, and then you have pears, and a little bit of oranges and pomegranate, and apple. All of this comes served as a breakfast. Dude, we ate our hearts out, and this was the leftover. This is when we were both done, and we couldn't touch another piece. And of course, 3 different types of bread. Like, we tried our very best to try and eat everything that we could. A couple of plates where we did finish stuff, they immediately remove. So we had 1 egg each. Then I actually had an additional egg. I ate most of these, and then everything else I just tried to try. And you can see just how many things are still left over. It's crazy. Like, it's an insane amount of food. If you're gonna come here and try this, it's an experience, but be hungry. Because a lot of it will go to waste, unfortunately. No matter how... Or if there's 3 or 4 of you, then this is potentially something you can finish. With 3 or 4 people, yeah. Because there's still a lot of salami and cheese. You can always get a little bit more bread. And a lot of things that you can put on bread. But yeah. This is the view that we had from that place. You can see Blue Mosque here from a little bit elevated position. When I say a little bit, I mean 6th floor. And you can see the Aya or Hagia Sophia, however you call it, there. They're really close to each other. And there is a park in between them. So you can... It's a really beautiful place. Like, this is probably the most beautiful part of Istanbul. And we were 5 minutes away from here. I don't know what happened. We were sitting at a table for 4, as you can see here. And when we were done, another waiter showed up, and he gave both of us my bag and my wallet on the other side, free tea. So this was a funny picture. I don't know. Maybe they thought that someone was sitting here, so it was like kind of funny. Then on the 4th day, I wanted to see the walls of Constantinople. You know, the historical walls built for defending the city and, you know, surviving the siege. Unfortunately, we had a really hard time finding access, and everything that we could see online is you should be able to walk on these walls, but we couldn't find anywhere to actually climb the walls and walk on them. So we found the place where they were. I don't know, was the whole thing closed for renovation or something? We think we found where you usually enter, but we couldn't. And nobody was working. Even the cafe inside was closed. So we walked a little bit around it, and this was the picture where we're like, yes, this is going... We actually found them, and this is going to be probably the only picture we have with them. Because, you know, after hours and hours, we gave up. We actually spent...
Angel28 is here, Flambe Ipe. Welcome back, Aru. Just quickly here for a resub. Now back to work, Whooper. Enjoy your post-Istanbul stream. /show/.
Thank you, Hell Angel. Appreciate the 40 months. It's good to be back. Now get back to work. You two look hilarious. The sunglasses are just... I don't know what's hilarious about it, but this picture was made to look a little bit funny. We actually spent about an hour sitting just across here at a gas station because my phone is a Google Pixel 5. It's not a very big phone, but just like with all of these other smartphones, you know, it's an entirely... The whole phone is a screen. So the battery goes down... the battery goes down very quickly. One second. Battery goes out very quickly, especially if I have Google Maps turned on. And we were using a Lintel SIM service, which is something you can install and essentially have a non-physical different SIM card on your phone. Not all phones support this, but if yours does, it's a good way to not have to deal with physical swapping of SIM cards because this is outside of EU. And if you don't want to get charged insane amount of money for using your phone, yeah, the eSIM. The Lintel service was pretty good. I think Jingles have had a sponsor. Oh, nice. Cool. But the problem is only my phone was compatible with it. So I needed to use my hotspot to share internet to Mrs. as well. And that drained the battery out of my phone at an insane rate. Like I had to charge my phone at least once or twice throughout the day while we were out walking. So the only place where we could sit was that gas station to actually, you know, chill a bit, grab some water, take a leak, and charge my phone. My phone charges pretty fast, but you know, if your phone is down to 2% battery, it takes about an hour to charge it fully. So we spent a shitload of time there just chilling and charging my phone. Then I managed to catch a couple of more pictures of the actual walls. And you can see that these walls were a little bit different than your typical walls. In the background, you can hear from one of the mosques, the preaching. Then after that, we managed to find an actual small fort, which is very much not visited by tourists. And it's a huge miss because you get access to the fort and, well, not, you can't really walk around the walls because they don't have a protection. As you can see, hold on. Well, I mean, this place is a platform that does have a protection, but the actual walls themselves don't have a fence. So they don't allow you to walk around the walls. But one of these, unfortunately, the platform that we're standing on is the only platform that you can actually climb on top of. And she is not the highest between... You can see that all of these towers are higher than the platform that we're currently standing on. So we wanted to access them. Unfortunately, they are hollow. And they have some presentation inside of them. There are stairs on the side of them to climb, but they were closed off. This is the only place that they allow you to actually climb, which is sad, because they, as beautiful as they are blocking the view of the rest of the city. And you, just knowing that you can get higher, you want to go there, but you can't. I mean, there's not much to do. But the view of the city, in my opinion, pays off. Although it was like 30 euros per person just to get in here. And there's really nothing to do. or much to see in terms of the fort itself, but you can use the fort to see the rest of the city, which is really nice. Norway!
Skyden is here, Flambe.
Thank you so much for gifting us up, my guy. I appreciate it. Then there's this hovering stone. If you pay attention, of course, you'll realize it's not actually exactly hovering. There are strings. And it's a gigantic stone. And no, I did not go under it. We fixed it that I look like I'm under it. So if I went under it, I would look a lot smaller. This is a gigantic fucking piece of stone that they drilled through. And it's just hovering there. Then in the evening, we went to some place which was for vegetarians, so we were pretty much left hungry. And then after that, we went to check the tower, which I forgot how it's called. Something with a K or a C, something like that, and you just pronounce it K, I think. No, Galata. It's not a K or a C, it's a G. It's a Galata Tower. It's definitely not the highest tower, but you do get the most beautiful, absolutely beautiful view from it. We had to stand in line in the wind, but it was maybe 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, and there were a bunch of people ahead of us, but it goes pretty fast. Even though at first it didn't look like it's going to move at all, but yeah. When you climb the tower, inside you have this model of the entire city. I don't think this is entire city. I don't think this is even remotely close to the entire city. But this is as much as they could fit, which also shows you where some of the monuments and more important buildings are. This is from up the city. You can still see that monstrosity up there in the background. You can see the Hagia Sophia or Hagia Sophia and the Blue Mosque there, and just how small they look right now. I don't actually have it here, but what was funny to me about Istanbul is it's a city that you could call how many mosques can you fit in one picture? I think I managed to fit like 8 of them. Like that's 1, 2, I think that's another one, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can't remember if that's a 7th one as well. And we found a bunch of them as well. It's like an insane amount of mosques. But what's funny about it is that, oh yeah, you can see one more here. They're beautiful. They really are. And they are what makes the city stand out from just regular constructions. The way that they built the city is pretty wild. It doesn't feel like it was planned building at all. At all. Like, we haven't seen the whole city. Of course, you would need to spend a few weeks, not to say a month, if you wanted to see everything. But most of it doesn't feel like it was planned construction. It was just wild. So you have a lot of ups and downs and weird intersections and not equal size lanes and stuff like that. It's a really wild city. This is one of the obelisks that stands between the two mosques, the Blue Mosque and the Hagia Sophia. But this was the first time that we were there during the night. So you're going to see a couple of pictures. Oh, hold the fuck on. You were supposed to see a couple of pictures during the night. Oh, I can find some for sure. Hold on. Yeah, this is the Blue Mosque during the night. And it just takes on a whole new level of beautiful and astounding. There's just something about it. It's really impressive. It really is. And what's funny is that while we were entering here to take a couple of pictures during the night, this was about 10:30. The guard was chasing a woman, trying to tell her that it's closed, you can't get in there anymore. But people were still kind of walking in, so we walked in and just grabbed a couple of pictures and walked out. Obviously didn't want to cause any trouble, but oh yeah, there's a story behind this. But yeah, very beautiful, especially during the evening as well. Then on the last day, we decided to actually take a ferry to the Asian side, use this opportunity to actually set foot on the Asian continent, considering we've never been. The closest I ever got was St. Petersburg, Russia, but that's the European side still. And considering Turkey is both on the European and Asian continent, I was like, yeah, why not? Not to mention that here is that monstrosity. We wanted to go and see the biggest mosque that they have.
Malcolm Reynolds is here, flambe hype.
Malcolm, thank you so much for 46 months. Appreciate it. It took a bit of an effort to get here. I'm not gonna lie. It was worth it, but make sure you don't have anything else to do on that day, because it took us about 15-20 minutes to get to the ferry, then buy tickets, and then it's about another 20 minutes to cross the Bosporus. We call it Bosphorus. I'm not sure how you call it in English. And then you have to figure out what the hell are you gonna do. Echo by subs. It's okay right now. But thank you. The only thing that we really knew that we wanted to do on this side, both of us, was actually see this mosque. The problem is that this mosque is built on a hill, not particularly close. So we had to find a transportation to there, which took another 25 minutes of driving. And then you have to walk like another 5 to 10 minutes. There's a lot of climbing. Mrs. is pregnant, and climbing stairs for her is very exhausting. But once we got there, damn, it was beautiful. Although at first we thought we wouldn't be able to enter it, but we did manage because the entrance was on the side. This is the view from the mosque. Now we are on the other side of the city. Just look at the freaking size of this city. And this is only what you can see. There's still city behind this hill, and I had to go like 0.6 here just to be able to maybe catch the size of this mosque. It is enormous. It is absolutely enormous. 1 second. Like, you know how the pictures, the photographs cannot really even begin to describe? Sometimes, some things, you simply cannot understand just how beautiful and how big these things are. It's impossible. And then we found a way inside. And then we were like, wow, this one is actually the most beautiful and well preserved mosque. But there's a reason for that. This is a very, very new mosque. This one was only made 7 years ago. And they are currently trying to connect her to the subway and trains and buses. It's probably going to be the best connected mosque in the city. And it's positioned on a hill where you can see it from just about any part of the city. And Istanbul has a large place to expand, so who knows, maybe at some point this will be the center. Huge. Absolutely freaking huge. And then just as we sat down, this pillar right here, this one or this one, I think it was this one eventually, literally is where we decided to sit down and relax. And then one of the volunteers of Islam, I guess, I don't know how else to call her. That's, I think, how she
Old
called
underscore
herself.
salty underscore dog 71 is here flambe eye.
Yulin, thank you so much for gifting a sub, my guy. Appreciate it. She came as a volunteer and she was like, would you like me to tell you a little bit about Islam and the whole thing? And we were like, sure, 5-10 minutes. Eventually she tried to convert us to bloody Islam. No offense meant, but like it was hilarious that it started as telling us a little bit about the mosque and Islam in general, and it continued talking about Islam and disputing and denying Christianity, which we didn't really appreciate it. I mean, personally, I'm not the most religious guy, and I have my opinions and all that jazz. I'm open to hear about other religions and all that jazz, but for the most part, it's like you trying to convert or get someone in on something is where you start losing me. It's like, as long as we stay on the informational level, and I feel like you're just relaying information to me. She was extremely polite, don't get me wrong, extremely polite, but the longer that we were talking, the faster she started talking, and we couldn't even catch a break. We couldn't even stop her or anything like that. I mean, you could, but you don't want to be rude. You want to look for a proper moment, but she just kept shifting from one place to the other. And it literally felt like, you know, she's trying to convert us to Islam. And it's not that I have anything against it. It's just like, you should respect other people's choices as well. And then at some point, I literally had to just grab my watch and just tell her in the middle of a sentence, I'm sorry, but we are kind of in a rush. And then she was like, yeah, no problem. Just finished her sentence. And then we were off. It was a nice experience because we learned a couple of things. We talked and all that jazz, and we heard their perspective or her perspective. But I would have preferred if she didn't go so hardcore with the whole preaching. Then we went to the Taksim Square, which is apparently where, you know, it's the most lively. We saw a mosque with black roof. I don't really know what the difference is between the black roof ones and all the other ones, which are like light blue. We went through one of the bridges and caught the sundown. What is that? Sunset? You have sunrise and sunset, right? And then when we were leaving, I was actually witnessing firsthand sunrise from the plane. I have never seen a more beautiful sunrise, well, ever. And where's the... Hold on, I should actually have... Where's the footage? Where's the video footage? I actually recorded. What? I actually recorded the entire sunrise, but for some freaking reason, I mean, you're gonna be able to see a couple of pictures as the orange is spreading and slowly engulfing the clouds, and then there's the sun. And now I went and recorded the whole thing, but I don't know where it is. I'm accessing my phone again, but it's gonna take some time for it to open everything. But it was definitely the most beautiful sunrise I've ever seen. The colors are hard to describe. Literally every shade of purple, orange, yellow, and red that you can think of, and brown. But I also discovered something on the last day. This is my laptop. Somebody scratched the living shit out of it while we were not in our rooms. And my mouse, not this one, different one, had this right key standing like this. And I didn't even realize this on the evening of the 4th day when we arrived there. I only realized in the next morning, because when in the evening we just came and we went to sleep. But on the next morning, I first realized that my mouse is screwed up. It's a cheap mouse. I didn't really care, and I managed to fix the key, put it back in its original position. I just was a little bit not sure why or how it happened. But then when I was done using my laptop, I shut it down and I, covered. I saw the scratch and I lost my fucking mind. And then on the 5th day, we told them about it, and they said they're gonna talk to the cleaning ladies and see. And I'm like, yeah, I already know they're gonna say they didn't do it. Eventually, they offered to pay us the transportation back to the airport. When we were coming here, it was 50 euros. When we were leaving, it was gonna be 35. So they covered at least that expense. But yeah, now I'm left, and it's a brand new laptop as well. I bought it not even half a year ago, with this huge scratch. The thing works. I hope they didn't drop it or anything like that. I just don't understand how the hell they did this. But yeah. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks very much, but what can you do? It is what it is. I feel kind of weird about our hotel and our stay because people working at the reception were very friendly, very polite, very kind. The hotel room was supposed to be very nice, but last day they scratched my laptop and kind of messed up my mouse. War Dog, welcome back. Thank you so much for 62 months. On the 2nd day, we noticed that we have ants in our bathroom. On the last day, I counted at least 8 of them on the floor in one go. Our shower was broken for the entire duration. The nozzle, the part that you shower with, and then the nozzle itself, the nozzle was broken where it connects to the thing that you hold to shower yourself with, and it was just spraying in the opposite direction. So if you take the nozzle like this, and this is where the water is supposed to come out from, the fucking thing was broken here, and it would just shower you. And the first time or second time or third time or fourth time, because it took quite a while to actually get used to that, you would open the water expecting the water to go in the opposite direction, and it would, but a decent portion of it would come back into your chest or face, and it was usually cold because you just started it. So you got a very nasty surprise. Not to mention that they integrated in the roof another part of the shower that you can switch so the water comes down from there. And from like 50 holes, I think only 7 worked. And they were going in every direction. So that sucked. Then the thing with the windows. And then eventually, you know, they scratched my laptop. So, yeah, I wasn't very happy. I wasn't very happy at all. But if they just changed the nozzle, somehow fixed the damn thing that it doesn't leak all the time, even when you want it or don't want it. Don't fuck up other people's property and take care of the ants issue. I would say that it's a decent hotel. But yeah, I don't know how many stars they had. Honestly, I don't know. I don't really care. But yeah, if they just paid a little bit extra attention to things that they should. Oh, I forgot to mention the main thing. The very first problem that we noticed is when we arrived in the hotel, I went to take a shower. And when I was done with the shower and that entire experience of water leaking everywhere, getting shocked by cold water, the cabin is also very small. Trying to enter the cabin, I hit my head so many times. I went to dry myself with the towel, and then I found hair in the towel. I presume women's hair, because it was pretty long. And then we found that 3 fucking days in a row, consistently, we kept finding hair in our towels. So, yeah. It started with hair and ended up with my laptop being scratched. I don't know. It's not the end of the world. And these are very easy problems to fix. Like, how hard is it to make sure you don't leave your hair in a freaking towel for your guests? How hard is it to not scratch someone's laptop? How hard is it to go into the first store, buy a new nozzle, and change it so that your guests can shower normally? These are very bizarre issues that we ran into on our stay. So, yeah, I don't know. The long ones are just the ones you can see. Yeah, well, I know what you mean, but I presumed that these were clean towels. It's just that from their head, the hair would somehow get entangled and stuff like that. So it was a little bit of a weird experience. You missed me? Yeah, my cats missed me. So, yeah, that was my trip to Istanbul. Overall, we did a lot of walking. The city is huge. The city is beautiful. It's not the most clean city, but the city has more than 20 million people living in it, which puts it at the top 6-7 cities in the world. It's not a very organized or planned construction. It's very wild, which makes it different. There's a lot of ups and downs, even though from the plane it looks incredibly flat. When you get there, you realize that you're always going up or down. There's like no flat terrain almost. There's a lot of waiters per restaurant. Waiters will literally try to fish hook you while you're walking. They will literally be fighting for you and telling you to enter their restaurant, which is, it takes a day or two to get used to it, but then you just ignore it. The mosques make the city stand out and more beautiful. The city overall, I would say, is very beautiful. The view is incredible. I've been to London, I've been to Paris, I've been to Amsterdam, I've been to Vienna, and none of these cities, I've been to Prague, I've been to St. Petersburg. None of these cities come even close in terms of a view that Istanbul provides. Dude, you have everything. You have these huge monumental buildings, mosques, all over the place. You have a couple of towers, huge flags, hills, sea, bridges, shitload of ships, forts, walls, barracks, mansions, villas. There is everything. It is a thing to see. The city truly offers a very, very awesome view. The food, for the most part, is very good quality. It's just, it doesn't feel like they have a lot of different cuisines in there.
Longshot
Maybe,
2222 is here, flambe hype. That month flew by.
yeah. Thank you for 63, man. Appreciate it. Maybe we were just incredibly, well, I'm not going to say unlucky that we kept ending up in the places that were offering all the same things. But we went, we Googled, we Google mapped, we searched, and the menus that we could see were all pretty much the same. The people are polite. I did not feel in danger. There is some police, but you don't feel like they are hostile, or you don't feel that people are hostile. In fact, everybody was really polite. English was enough to get by just about everywhere. Restaurants and cafes, you can talk English, no problem. We tried to talk to, for example, the cleaning ladies at one point. They didn't know English. And they're a little bit older. But just about everywhere we go, people knew at least good enough or enough English. And yeah, I mean, overall, I would say a city worth seeing, worth going to. Just prepare yourself. The traffic is crazy. The city is very unevenly built. There's ups and downs everywhere. Narrow streets, crazy driving. If you're a pedestrian, nobody gives a damn about you. You have to look out for yourself. It's not like here, for example, where, you know, if somebody does something to you, they know it's going to be their fault. I mean, I presume the same thing goes there as well, but people just don't really care that much about pedestrians like people care where I'm from. I don't know. Blue Mosque is a thing to see, in my opinion, both during the day and during the night. Enter a mosque if you can. I mean, Sofia is the oldest one with the most history there, so obviously I would recommend it. The Galata Tower, also very beautiful view. I actually have a footage, I don't know where it is right now, where I walked around the entire tower and recorded the whole city, so you get a pretty good idea how big the city is. Incredible. I just don't know where it is right now. I can't really put it, I can't really rate it from like 1 to 10. But it was a beautiful experience. People, polite. City, in terms of cleanliness, it's not the most clean city, but considering it's got that many inhabitants, it's not bad either. If you are gonna go there with a car, good luck. I definitely recommend using public transportation, getting one of their cards and then just topping it up as you walk along. There's like these yellow charging stations, or where you can, you know, put more money at any point, and you can use it for any type of transportation, including the ships as well. I went to both Asian and European side. Funny enough, I would say the Asian side was more organized than the European side. Makes me believe that it was inhabited later, which might not be true. The cons would be, in terms of menus, it kind of feels a little bit too much of the same. There's not a lot of places that offer, well, restaurants will mostly offer you beer, but anything other than that, not really. And there's very few types of beer, but the beer isn't bad. The menus are a little bit very much off the same no matter where you go, but the food is very good quality, tasty. Uh, Streets are crazy. There's a shitload of people. But it's also hilarious to see just how much the city oscillates from beautiful building, then a ruin, then average looking building, then beautiful, then not so beautiful. It's very wild. Like, I really don't know how else to call it. It's a very wild experience in terms of construction and building. I don't have anything really negative that I would say that stands out. It's like, oh my god, this was like super bad. Like, this was like no. Um, but I was in awe. Just, I don't know, like how much it left the impression on me, like how beautiful the mosques are, and how much they make the city look even more beautiful. The view is the view is worth the view alone. Just to turn around 360 degrees from some place and take a look at the city, the view alone is worth going there. And a couple of mosques. Like, that alone is enough. Yeah, I don't know. I'll probably upload this on YouTube. It's probably going to be way too freaking long of a video. But, you know, if you enjoy it, if you stick through this far, follow, subscribe, leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought about the video. If you have any comments, if you think I'm wrong at some things, I don't know, or you want to add something. If you've ever been to Istanbul and how your experience is. If you've ever been to other part of Turkey and what your experiences are there, and if you can compare them to the Istanbul, I'd be interested in hearing that out. Stream is on for 2 hours and 10 minutes, and I don't think I was streaming for the first 20, so holy cow, this is going to be an incredibly long video. But I like talking, and I hope you guys enjoyed listening. Plus, there was some videos and pictures. I apologize for that super super loud moment. Yeah, that was not intentional. And yeah, I just got back, and I'm gonna be here for the next 2 weeks, and then I'm off again for a week. I'm gonna be going to TwitchCon in Rotterdam, Netherlands, at the end of May and beginning of June. And then when that's done, there's only going to be 1 or 2 more places where we will go for a day or two. For the most part, I will be home. So yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.